I'm sure that you all know that the welterweight division currently is in a massive logjam at the top. So, my mission today is to matchmake the top welterweights and clear that logjam so we can get some activity going in the 170-pound division again. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a Money Manziel MMA production. Grab your popcorn, grab your snacks, have fun for the sake of this video, and let's get right into it, man. So, obviously, we have JDM versus Islam up first. This has been announced pretty much that it's happening, or it's the next fight for both guys. I believe it's going to be in November in Madison Square Garden, main event. I would believe that they would also do Tom Aspinall versus somebody as a co-main to that card, or maybe they just do Aspinall in October. I'm not really sure. But either way, I also am going to be predicting a winner for each of these fights, so we'll get to that in a second. But JDM versus Islam, exciting fight. Obviously, JDM coming off the title win at 315 against Bilal, and Islam hasn't fought since January when he beat Renato Moicano when he was supposed to fight Arman Sarukian. It is what it is. Arman missed weight. He also was a little too horny for Nina Drama, so it is what it is for that. But yeah, when it comes to Islam versus JDM and picking the winner of this fight, I'm glad you asked. JDM beats Islam Makhachev. I don't care what you have to say. If Dustin Poirier was 2-2 with Islam, there's no way that JDM can't outbox him. And even if you make the argument that it wasn't 2-2 and it was 3-1, okay. 3-1 versus 2-2? Like, what are we talking about here? It's very clear to me, at least, that JDM is a faster boxer at this point in time than Dustin Poirier. So, if he's faster and we saw that he can defend takedowns pretty creatively, I think he beats Islam. I think it's an extremely tough test for him. I wouldn't be surprised if Islam tries to grapple really, really early in this fight, because it's going to pose a legitimate threat to him. And JDM's going to be stronger. So, you've got a strong, younger guy versus Islam, who's coming up 15 pounds. I know that he's a big 155, but surely he's going to be a little weaker than JDM. It'll be interesting to see. If he ends up being stronger, it'll be a big case for him just being a big weight bully, but I like Islam. I think it's going to be competitive, but I do think JDM wins, bro. I do think that he has a striking acumen and takedown defense to really give Islam some problems. So we're going to go with JDM for that fight. Next up, Bilal Muhammad and Shavkat. I think this fight makes sense. By the way, I'm going in ranking order, so if the number one guy fights the number 3, then we still have the number 2 left to matchmake. So just keep that in mind. I think we do numbers 1 and 3 here. We do Bilal versus Shavkat. Shavkat has been saying that he is going to sit out and not fight before the belt. Brother, no, you are not. You fought in December. You should have fought already by now, someone else. It is what it is. You fell out of your title fight for a second time. A first time. Bilal fell out the first time. But either way, you cannot just sit and complain on the sideline. Justin Gaethje's doing the same thing right now. I will say the same thing that everyone has been saying to Justin Gaethje. If you are not willing to fight, leave the promotion. Leave the UFC if you're not willing to fight. What is this whole, sitting around? Shavkat fights once a year anyways. So I don't understand the point of him being like, oh, I'm not going to fight. Brother, then someone else will. The UFC does not take kindly to you sitting out and waiting. Sean Strickland got lucky, but most of the time, unless there's weird circumstances, you're not going to get a shot by sitting out and waiting around. It's not smart. You risk a guy having a better performance than you. And he's coming off a razor-thin fight. It's not like the odds are in his favor that he has some crazy knockout and he's not trying to risk it or anything. No, bro, you need to fight again. So I think he fights Bilal, and I honestly think that Bilal beats him, dude. I think that Ian Garry took his back for 2 minutes and almost got a rear naked choke on him. I think that it was a little too easy for Ian Garry once he chose to grapple. No one has seen if if Shavkat can defensively grapple or not. And I think Bilal's going to put a crazy pace on him. I think Bilal's going to put a legitimate pace on him, take him down, kind of have an unk still got it moment. Or, I guess, if the damage was enough in the JDM fight, then there's a chance that Bilal just gets murked. But I really think it's a winnable fight for him, man. So, we'll see what happens. But Overall, I'm gonna pick Bilal in this fight, so it is what it is. Next up is number 2, Sean Brady. What do you do with Sean Brady? I think you make a fight with Kamaru Usman, title eliminator. I think if you make this soon, they should fight for the belt before Shavkat. Um, Kamaru coming off the dominant win versus Joaquin Buckley, very impressive stuff. And Sean Brady coming off a dominant win over the guy who beat Kamaru Usman twice, Leon Edwards. Sean Brady needs one more fight, in my opinion. Kamaru Usman needs one more fight, in my opinion. I think this is a great fight to make for the title elimination bout, for the belt. And I'll explain my strategy with this in a minute, but I do believe that Kamaru Usman can win this fight. Sean Brady has shown me nothing in the striking still. You want to see something. Like, I feel like Leon Edwards had moments on the feet. He landed that big elbow, cracked Sean Brady. He's never had to prove that he can stand for 5 rounds. I think that there's a legitimate world where Kamaru Usman tries to kind of offensively grapple a little, but he really just chooses to stand with Sean Brady for 5 rounds, and I think that's very winnable for him. I think it would be close, but I think Kamaru Usman's a much better striker, so if he wants to stand with Sean Brady for an entire fight, he could do it and probably win. That's my opinion. I really think that's possible. Um, but yeah, obviously, if his grappling defense is not there, if his takedown defense isn't there, Sean Brady could ragdoll him in like shocking kind of fashion, but I don't know, man. At 38, he is the type of style where if you can't hurt him on the feet, you're not going to do a lot to him. Like, Joaquin Buckley tried, but Usman just wrestled him so fast it didn't matter. But, yeah, I feel like Kamaru Usman wins. Alright, so, looking at the rankings, we've done numbers 1 through 5, I believe, currently. Which leaves us at number 6, Ian Garry. Although, we haven't done number 4, actually. Leon Edwards, rather. Well, that just gave away what I'm going to do. But Leon Edwards versus Ian Garry is the next fight I want to make. And I want to make this very clear. These past 3 fights, which have been Sean Brady and Kamaru Usman, Bilal Muhammad and Shavkat, and now Leon Edwards and Ian Garry, I believe the fighter that is the best performance in those 3 fights deserves a title fight. That makes the most sense. Put these all on the same fucking card. Make a whole main card of these fights. Do whatever you want. But we need like a tournament style thing for welterweight to clear this up. I think if Bilal goes out there, dominates Shavkat, and no one else is able to dominate any of the other guys, give Bilal the title fight. If Shavkat finishes Bilal, give him the title fight. If Sean Brady dominates Kamaru Usman and no one else is able to do the same type of thing, Sean Brady deserves it. Vice versa for Kamaru. And then you go to here, which I think is the least likely out of the 3 to be the most dominant performance, so it makes sense. I think you do Leon Edwards and Ian Garry fight night main event. I don't know where, I don't know when, but I do think this is a likely fight. I've seen talks of Leon Edwards and Michael Morales. I don't think that the UFC is going to do that. It's yet to be seen, but I feel like it was being talked about and no longer is it being mentioned anywhere. Um, but I do think that Ian Garry and Leon Edwards is a really boring fight on paper. I do think we could get a finish here. I don't know how to explain it. I think that Ian Garry beats Leon Edwards. I know it's popular to hate on Leon and call him boring now. I don't think Leon is unskilled. I think that he's a great technical kickboxer, but he's a point fighter, and he does not throw a lot of volume. He throws enough to win rounds off people. It's kind of how he operates nowadays. But Ian Garry's younger, he's faster. He's a legitimately good boxer. Watch back the Carlos Prates first 4 rounds. Ian Garry mixes in takedowns well, but ultimately he has these blitzes with boxing combos. He's landing well to the body, he's landing to the head, he's hurting Carlos Prates in moments. I really think it was a great performance for Ian Garry. And off of the Shavkat loss before that, I think another win would really mean a lot for him. And you look at his career, otherwise, he's got a win over Jeff Neal. I don't think much about Neil Magny as a win. Razor thin with Shavkat. He's beat MVP. If he beats Leon Edwards, that's a pretty good resume for a title shot. So if he finishes Leon, I would consider giving Ian Garry the title shot next. So we'll see what happens. It's just a big logjam, though, at welterweight. So kind of is what it is. And I don't see a path for Leon here. Unless Leon is able to land something big and hurt Ian Garry, and Ian Garry seems like the type of guy that could get chinned. Um, I don't think there's a world where Leon wins this fight, so I'm going to say Ian Garry wins that. Now, I have one more matchup that I want to talk about that I kind of came up with on the fly because there was one other top 10 combo that I thought made sense. I think that there are two guys in really interesting positions. And the number 7 guy currently at welterweight is Michael Morales, which is kind of crazy because he just beat Gilbert Burns. Um, but he's number 7. If they do not make the rumored Leon Edwards fight next, they don't make him fight someone way up in the rankings, I think that Joaquin Buckley is in a fascinating sink or swim spot with the UFC. Because you lose to 38-year-old Kamaru Usman, who a lot of people felt like was not good enough anymore to beat Joaquin Buckley. I think the UFC is going to give him a make or break type of fight. Because if he loses to Michael Morales, it proves that he's probably not at the top level of the division. And that they can give him those like bottom of the top 15 fights or unranked fun fights. Kind of what he was doing at middleweight for a while. Um, and if he wins, then Michael Morales becomes kind of that other guy in limbo now, and now you're not really sure what to do with him, but he's still really young, so you have time. I think it makes sense for the sake of both their careers to do this fight. I'm still not sold on Michael Morales, man. I think that I'm trying to remember which fight he got dropped in. It was either Fugit or it was versus. Did he fight or Jake Matt? I don't think Jake Matthews dropped him. I thought Adam Fugit dropped him. But he got kind of dropped in a moment in a fight. He's had weird moments. His striking is very flat footed. Um, the grappling, though, is going to be interesting. I am very curious to see if either one of them would grapple in this fight, but power wise, it's pretty close. Buckley can be hurt. So I just think that'd be a super fun fight. You have no clue who's knocking out who in that fight. Big fight for both of them, and honestly, with a win, they'd be one fight away from a title shot. So it makes a lot of sense to me to make this fight, and I'd be really down to see it as like the featured fight on a pay per view. So I say we do Joaquin Buckley versus Michael Morales and keep shit moving around here. So yeah, ladies and gentlemen, those are the fights at welterweight to get rid of the logjam. Like I said, I think you could do a tournament of welterweight fights on a main card of a pay per view with JDM and Islam if you got nothing else. I think that'd be a lot of fun. You get some interest from people because they're all really fun fights. So that'll do it for me today. I appreciate all of you. I've got my official UFC 318 predictions coming out tomorrow, so stay tuned for those. Pretty excited about that. Thank you for all the love and support, obviously, on the recent videos. I appreciate every one of you. Like, comment, and subscribe if you're new, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.